back, ladies and gentlemen. This is AhTravesty playing some Pillars of Eternity. Alright, we're still here in Blood Sands. Pretty much went through the whole area, except I guess there's a room here and a room here that we haven't been in yet. Apparently this place likes to sacrifice people and then turn their essence into... what the hell is it called? These potions right here. War paints. They're pretty powerful potions too, but pretty damn good. I don't know about sacrificing people for them though, but... anyways,
of course.
Let's go ahead and keep looking around through this place here. See if there's anything interesting. There's a chest over there, but I don't think we're going to be able to get into that. Here we have a keeper and a bunch of chanters. These guys know anything? These halls are not for the weak of spirit. And some more heistable stuff over there. I don't think we're going to be able to get into that though. Alright, so let's go back down this way then, I guess. Ooh, there's something hidden right here.
There's something ahead.
Alright, let's go check it out. Lockpicks. Let's grab them. One splits off. Oh, this one goes right back to here. Okay. Let's keep moving down this way then. Keepers and Naka. What do we have on the table? Some oil. Some more crafting material. Let's talk to Naka. The petitioner before you is swaddled in loose-fitting robes. Her hair is greasy and matted. A glossy film of sweat and grime coats her exposed skin. She has the swollen features of pregnancy and several missing teeth in her big grinning smile. As you approach, she slowly turns to you and examines you from head to toe, smiling the entire time. Joyous day to you. I am Naka, midwife and warkeeper. Her hands run across a slight bulge in her belly. She rolls her head back and sighs a relaxed purr. Are you feeling well? Flawless. Apologies. I should be left to my meditation. The rite of strength is invigorating, almost overwhelming the senses. She reaches down and cradles her belly in her hands and turns away. What the hell?
Laying low.
Okay, maybe we have to come back to her for something. Well, I guess that's the whole place. We might have to come back here for something later on, but right now it doesn't appear there's anything we need to do in here. Alright, let's get out of here. Okay, so I guess we can go back to this place, Ter Evron, and deal with this, whatever's going on in here. Let's see, do these guys say anything else? Sheeta, nothing new. Alright, let's head in here and see what's going on. Alright, where are we now? Ter Evron. What the hell's all this?
Margaren's fire casts light in dark places.
Let's search this place. Looks like we have some bookcases here. Let's check this out. Book of the Hunt. Daily affirmations of focus and efficiency. Excerpts from the Sermon of Struggle. The Midwife's Memoirs. The Queen that was and still is. Alright, let's see. If we can grab that up. And what's this? Final Journal of Jonas. Missives of the Hand Occult. The Many Faces of Breath. I don't think we read this. What is this? Dearest brother, or was it sister? Okay, looks like a little bit of lore there. Alright, let's grab all of it. 10 Years of Dawn. Selected correspondences of Giftbringer Iban, the enigmatic god of cold. What does this say? Shattered and charred stone blocks a passage into sun and shadow. Oh, that's where Theos went. Yeah, they said they blocked a way in further, so that's why we have to go to that other burial aisle, I think. And what is this? Luminescent Adra shard. Crisp flashes of light run through this Adra shard, pulsing in its faceted core like veins of light fueled by a heart of fire. Alright, let's grab that. Oh, what the hell? Oh, there's something here in the middle. Oh no, what?
Magnificent.
Okay. What the hell just happened there? Well, it looks like... yeah, we lost that Adra shard. Okay, apparently that activated something. So we have some pedestals here. I think this is what they're talking about in Council is pray to the gods in Ter Evron, yeah. I'll need to pray to the gods in Ter Evron where they are said to commune with mortals. Okay, this must be the place. Let's check this out. Earn divine favor. In the nearby constellations, you can make out the shape of a strange horned beast. From time to time, you think you sense a faint chill emanating from the shrine itself. Pray to Rimgard. Oh, we got some experience points. Let's see what happens. You kneel before the shrine and prepare to recite the ritual words. Oh. Okay, I have no idea here. Struggle for... no, before we go on to... before we mess with that, let's look at the rest of these. In the glittering stars of nearby constellations, you see the grim shape of a skull. Its jaws are wide open, as if frozen in a silent scream. Pray to Barath. Okay, this is the same as that one over there. Alright, what's this one? The shrine sits before a bright constellation, its stars forming the oval shape of an egg. A pair of wings sprout from the egg, stretching out to either side. Pray to Hyleia. Okay. Pray to Galawain. Before this shrine sits the constellation of a snarling hound, fangs bared. Alright, apparently we need to know... So we got Barath, Hyleia, Galawain. Can't see the rest of these though. Let me guess. I wonder if some of these books might come in handy here. Book of the Hunt. This one's talking about Galawain. To seek answers is to understand and to become one with Galawain. Survival begins with strength from within. That sounds familiar. Galawain. Let's move that one up here so we know that's one of them. Right, Galawain. Where was that one? This one over here. Yeah, survival begins with strength from within. Let's try that one. The air around you stirs and a gust of warm wind blows across the back of your neck. You catch the faintest smell of wet earth. Okay, apparently we did something right here. As you kneel in front of the shrine, you feel yourself pushed forward. You catch yourself in your hands and knees, feeling warm, damp ground beneath them. Looking around, you find yourself crouched in a clearing in the middle of the woods. The smell of dirt hangs heavy in the air. Behind you is a darkened room filled with candlelit shrines. Ahead, you hear the howl of some kind of hound. You feel certain this is a vision, but the hairs on the nape of your neck still rise. I've come to seek Galawain's favor. The howling beast falls silent. and you hear a rustling in the foliage nearby. Something is watching you. Haul back. The beast bays in response, its voice high and clear. The thick undergrowth shivers with movement, and heavy paws pound the wet grass. You're not certain if the creature is hunting or leading you, but you instinctively give chase. As you tumble through dew-spackled bushes and clawing brambles, each stride feels longer than the last. You draw lungfuls of crisp, clean air and feel your energy renewed. The rhythm of your stride and the thumping of the beast's paws drive the blood thrumming into your ears. You speed ahead, following the hound's cries, when a split-finger pine crashes to the ground in front of you. A massive bear lunges into the gap and roars. It catches sight of you. You turn and race in the opposite direction, leaping over the fallen tree trunk. Pine cones crunch underfoot. The bear lumbers after you. Its hot breath washes over the back of your neck, filling your nose with the rank odor of slaughter. You see a clearing just past a thicket of broadleaves and sprint toward it. As you break through the foliage, you see a massive lioness curled up in the clearing in front of you. With a last burst of energy, you divert your momentum and hurl yourself into the bushes. Any second now, you expect to feel the bear fall upon you, but a furious roar on the other side of the clearing draws your attention. The bear has stopped at the tree line. It swipes the empty air with claws large enough to rend armor, but it does not advance. The lioness, for her part, twists her body into a tight coil. She growls, her ears pressed against her head, but she makes no move to attack the intruder. Whose idea was it to stand here? You back deeper into the foliage, keeping your eyes on the two mighty predators. As you crawl backwards, the heel of your hand brushes something furred. A warm sigh grazes your cheek. You freeze in place, slowly turning your head to see what waits behind you. Two amber eyes shine in the darkness. If I'm dying here, at least it was with my friends. And Durrance. The eyes meet your gaze briefly, then turn to the standoff in the clearing. The hound behind you yawns, fangs flashing. When you turn back, the lion and the bear have disappeared. In their place is a stone wolf's maw, gaping wide enough to swallow you whole. Beyond it is the outline of a temple, towering but indistinct. Blood must feed the maw, Watcher. See that a true champion reigns. Travel to the stone mall in Gallowayne's vision. He also revealed a cave shaped like a wolf's maw in the area that looks like a temple district. I can probably learn more there. Council of Stars addendum. Gallowayne showed me a battle between a great lion and a mighty bear. Does it do anything else? Great to Gallowayne. Nope, it's all the same stuff it looks like. Okay, well, let's see. We have Hylea, Barath, and Rimgrand. Do we have any more books dealing with these guys? Ivan... Rimgrand, huh? Here's one for Barath. Let's look at this one. For if nothing else, Barath teaches us that duality exists in all things. There is life in death and death in life. Embrace this quality and you honor Barath. Okay. Let's try that one. That sounds familiar too. Pray to Barath. There's life in death and death in life, sure enough. Let's try this one. There is a rippling shift in the air around you, as if some unfelt wind has changed, bringing unexpected warmth. You feel the peculiar weight of an unseen presence in the eyes upon you. Yep, that must be correct. You kneel and pray to Barath. Even while your eyes are closed, you see a road that seems to stretch on forever. The stars wheel overhead in a clockwork rotation of constellations, disappearing over the horizon to your left, only to rise on your right. You try to make out the details on either side of the road, but your eyes can't seem to focus. One moment you think you see a meadow blanketed with mist, and another sheer canyon walls. For just an instant, you even see waves lapping on the edges of the road. Were you to step into the shifting landscape, you feel certain you would only end up back on the road. You know this is a vision, but the packed dirt feels firm beneath your feet and the night air cool on your face. You are walking. Your feet seem to carry you forward of their own accord. Something looms ahead of you. As you get closer, you see two stone figures that look strangely familiar. Two of the oldest representations of wrath. You remember the door to Cleobon Relog and the two figures carved into the mountain next to it. One looks vaguely male and the other vaguely female. Only a thin layer of flesh covers their skeletal bodies, which twist to face the doorway between them. The doorway, however, is not what you saw in the ruins. It's a skull, gaping and jawless, and as you look on, its open mouth seems to grow. The arms of the two stone sculptures are swept toward the mouth, inviting you in. Enter the skull's mouth. The road continues through the maw to another shifting landscape surrounded by stars. As you pass through it, you see an identical doorway in the distance. A dwarven man stands near it, unmoving. You turn and look behind you, only to see the skull gate you just passed facing you. An elven woman waits on the road. Like the dwarf, she stands still. Approach the dwarven man. You continue down the road toward him. He looks up as you approach, but you can't tell if he's looking at you or through you. His face is smooth but facet, as if the flesh was detached from the muscles underneath. As you look on, his face begins to change. Wrinkles crack at the corners of his eyes. His mouth sinks, carving deep lines from his nose to the corners of his lips. His jowls sag, and the loose flesh hangs like dough. He raises his cupped hands. They're covered in blood. He lifts them to his face and smears himself, from his newly creased forehead to the rattles of his neck. As he massages the dark, sickly fluid into his skin, the fresh wrinkles disappear. The hanging folds recede and his flesh tightens as if readhering to the skull. He lifts his head, and this time you know he's looking at you. His renewed face looks like a mask, artificially smooth and still. Behind it, his black eyes are two hungry pits, yawning like the empty mouths of skulls. Come, make your sacrifice to Ethic Null. His body blocks the path. He extends a bloody hand towards you. Boy, I wonder if that's the dwarf guy in, what is it called? Red Sands or Blood Sands or whatever? Take his hand. You grab his hand, but his skin gives too easily under your grip. As you try to pull away, you hear a noise like dried canvas tearing. His skin splits, following a long seam that begins at his arm and stretches the length of his body. Blood gushes forth in such quantities that you can't imagine there was ever anything else in him. Sure enough, as the dwarf empties of blood, he collapses like a desiccated husk. The blood in the path gleams with 1,000 souls worth of essence. The essence evaporates, trailing shining filaments into the night sky. Only now that he is dead can you continue onward. The blood pools around your feet, and you look up and see the elven woman waiting further down the road. Approach the elven woman. You start toward her. There's something unnatural about the way she stands. She's too still. When you get closer, you see that her legs taper into a slender trunk, and in place of her feet are gnarled, twisting roots. She lifts her face to an invisible sun. The long golden hair is the color of autumn leaves, and as you look more closely, you realize that her head is actually covered with tendrils and vines, sprouting brilliant yellow leaves. Each glimmers with the essence of an entire soul. She gives you a beatific smile. As you look on, the leaves slowly fall from her head and settle at her roots. They melt into the path beneath her, and almost immediately, new leaves sprout in the place of the old. She reaches toward you, still smiling as roots spring from her fingertips. Her outstretched arms bar the path. Come, graft your soul to the golden grove. Take her hand. Her roots twine around your fingers, and as they do, they grow rigid and cold. Her outstretched arm petrified, and as a rough stone bark overtakes her flesh, she can only look on in horror. You break away from her brittle grasp. Her feet are rooted in place, but she twists and writhes, as if trying to flee her own dying limb. The petrification reaches her shoulder and spreads down her body, freezing it in a painful arc. It creeps up her neck, and she throws her face skyward like a drowning swimmer. The grayness covers her face, freezing her gasp in stone. Now that she is still and lifeless, you can continue past her. Only the golden leaves on her head remain untouched, and as you watch, they fall one by one to the path below. They shrivel as the shimmering essence fades from them. A voice echoes along the road, barely more than a whisper on a breeze. Return them to the wheel. You lift your gaze and see the skull gate ahead of you on the path. The candles of Ter Evron wink through the open mouth. End the lives of the two figures from Barath's vision. And another update, Council of Stars. Barath gave me a vision of a dwarf and an elf on an eerie road. Both perished at my touch. Okay, so let's see, we have Hylia and Rimgrand next. Let's see if we have any other books here. Let's see, that was Barath. Alright, I'm gonna have to look through these. That looks like Abaddon. Who's this? That's Mogren. Who's this? Oh, here's Hylia. The Sky Mother asks so little of us and yet so much. We are charged to live every note of life's song. That sounds familiar. It surprises me how many fail to embrace this divine calling. Let's check this one out. Pray to Hylia. Yeah, live every note of life's song. Let's try that. Your words seem to ring in the air, your voice rendered melodic and lilting by some unseen art. You shut your eyes to pray. As you wait in darkness, the world around you changes. You feel sunlight bright and warm on your face. The light breeze carries music to your ears. As vivid as these sensations feel, you somehow know they are not real. You look around and find yourself standing in an open-air temple built on a mountain summit. It's filled with elves, Orlans, and assorted other kith. Ringing the entire scene is a fringe of trees, their verdant branches filled with birds of all different colors, shapes, and sizes. A paradise for those who would waste their lives exploring the meaningless while corrupting the meaning of the real world. Oh, to set these trees ablaze, Watcher. Everyone is singularly absorbed in a particular pursuit. An Orlan sits with a canvas, a paintbrush in his hand, and jars of green, blue, and yellow pigments at his feet. An elf and an Aumaua stand to the side, are locked in conversation, their expressions dancing with delight. Still others scribble stanzas of poetry or crude sketches on sheets of paper, losing themselves in the delicate minutiae of lines and syllables. You feel the breeze again, and two elves basking in the sunlight shiver. The largest group gathers in the middle of the temple. They sing a lush, chaotic harmony composed of several complementary melodies. Others drift toward the singers in ones and twos, as if buffeted by a gust of wind or a phrase of the song. A ripple passes through the trees. You think it's the wind, but the chirping changes to screeching. Hundreds of birds take to the skies, all headed in one direction, away. Something must be coming. The devotees glance at the trees, just barely distracted from their activities, but the wind picks up, scattering their pages of poetry and art and ripping the songs from their lips. They look skyward, and you follow their gaze. A dark shape blots out the sun. You can't tell what it is, but as it unfolds and expands, it seems to fill the sky. The wind roars over the summit. That explains the birds. Before you can flee, a shadow falls over the temple. It begins as a stain in the corner and spreads, blotting out the flagstones. It reaches the nearest kith, a black-furred Orlan. The darkness swallows her, leaving only a puff of smoke in her place. The two elves that you saw earlier, a man and a woman, flee. You get a brief image of them huddled in the shadow of a mountain. They seem to see you too, and they reach out, calling silently after you. The others, however, seem frozen. As the shadow advances, they likewise vanish one by one. The driving gale scatters their ashes and the charred remains of their creations. You look up again at the source of the shadow, but the eclipsed sun forms a blinding corona around the thing. You can't make out any details. You can, however, feel heat. Restore my temple. You look down and find yourself standing next to Hylea's shrine in Ter Evron. Your pulse still races and your skin is damp with sweat from your strange encounter. Travel to Hylea's temple. And another update. Hylea revealed a mountaintop temple beset by a terrible menace. Alright. Alright, now we just have Rimgrand next here. Or Rimmergrand, or whatever you... Alright, so that was that one. Rimmergrand. What's this one? That one's Wodaka, it looks like. Temple of Jonas. That's Skane. This one looks like it's talking about whale. That's Widewind. Andra. Rimmergrand, here we go. Rimmergrand shows us that all life ends in stillness. Yep, that sounds familiar. Alright, let's move this one up here. Pray to Rimmergrand. What was that? I know I said all life ends in stillness. Let's try this one. You feel a sudden gust of cold air, as if the shrine were bursting into a wintry life. The frigid wind cuts through you like a sharpened blade, and darkness encroaches upon the edges of your sight. You kneel and close your eyes. As you pray, the blackness fades to white, and the howling wind fills your ears. The vision that slowly resolves itself as a broad, frozen plain. You see a procession of elves in the distance, periodically fading into and emerging from the whiteness. They trudge over snow banks, their heads down against the driving winds. I know this place. This is the white that wins. As they trek past you, one man bundled in furs turns his head. You headed for Noonfrost? And the Frosthoon Breach too? Before you can answer, he's lumbered ahead. You follow the caravan, and in a couple minutes you come to a wall of ice. It disappears into the pale emptiness overhead and stretches as far as you can see in either direction. The elves stop in front of a mirror-smooth section that's framed like a temple door. It seems somehow thinner than the rest of the wall. You can see what's on the other side, but a debilitating cold emanates from within. The elves pull pickaxes and shovels from their sealskin packs and begin hacking at the smooth ice, their implements flying through the air in swift, shining arcs. Though they throw their bodies into their labor, not one of them so much as scratches the polished ice. Yet with each blow something bellows in the distance. Whatever that is, it's huge and angry, and it's coming our way. Hey, you might want to hold off on that. Forget about the elves. We need to be ready to move, or fight. The elves hack away, seemingly oblivious to the furious lowing and to the tremors under your feet. The snow has risen to your knees. Your legs feel frozen in the drifts. Try to get the elves' attention. You grab the nearest elf by her shoulder, shaking her and yelling over the howling winds. You point in the direction of the booming noise, but she only scowls. Leave us, traveler. We've got to get through. We can't stay on this side any longer. Listen, you're angering something very big. You'd better stop. The elf strains to listen. As she rests her pick on the mounting snow, some of her fellows pause in their labors. A man with a withered, frostbitten finger turns. He raises his maimed hand, and the others stop as well. They stand motionless for several seconds before you realize they've frozen entirely. You touch the elf nearest to you, and she crumbles into a mound of snow. A final gale blows past, scattering the remains of the elves in a chaotic flurry. You notice a single spiderweb crack in the smooth barrier. It's the only thing that mars the perfect surface of the ice. Whatever's on the other side of the strange doorway, you feel it's tugging at you. Only when you look back and see the parallel gashes trailing behind your legs in the snow do you realize how strong this pull is.
My end comes to all things in time. Seal the frost-hewn breach and instruct the pilgrims in the patience of Remergond.
Plug the hole with a handful of snow. You fill your hand with snow and shove it into the crack. It hardens instantly, and a hoary rime grows over the smooth surface of the frozen doorway, fusing it with the rest of the wall. When you take your hand away, a perfect crystal of ice remains in your palm. As you examine the crystal, the vision around you fades, but the unmelting shard of ice remains in your hand. Ice shard added. New quest, Into the White Void. Yeah, looks like we just picked up a quest item. Okay. So we got a whole bunch of new quests here. In Remergand's shrine, I saw a procession of pale elves perish before a wall of ice. Find Noonfrost and Twin Elms. The locals must know something about this place. A nest above the clouds. Travel to Hylea's temple. If there's a district in a city with other temples, I may be able to find the elves there. That's somewhere here in Twin Elms, it looks like. End the lives of the two figures from Barath's vision. Elven woman in Golden Grove, which is High Ovid Arona. And that dwarf in Ethic Null. Yep, we're gonna have to deal with them. Travel to the Stone Maw in Galawain's vision. Yeah, I think that's over in that Temple District area. Alright, so we are running up on time, so we better go ahead and end her here.